So you're looking for the next coin that can do a 100x and make you rich as f***? Well, you came to the wrong place because I don't pump and dump on this channel. But what I can do is give you a fair and honest review about the technicals and fundamentals of a blockchain that seems to have a lot of potential, and that blockchain is Kardiachain. Kardiachain is an interoperable blockchain that aims to solve the issues of scalability in the crypto space by using a patent-pending system called the dual Masternode system. There are many dApps, or decentralized applications, already built on top of Kardiachain, including NFT marketplaces, yield farming apps, decentralized exchanges, play-to-earn games, and much more. Kardiachain is powered by the blockchain's native token called Kai, and it's secured using a DPoS, or Delegated Proof of Stake consensus mechanism. They are currently already interoperable with two different blockchains, which would be Ethereum and Neo, and they aim to add 3 more partners this year that they'll be compatible with, according to their roadmap, which I'll link below. Before we take a look at some of the dApps that are built on top of Kardiachain, and before I discuss the Kai token and its tokenomics, I'd like to take a look more at the technicals, specifically the dual Masternode system and how they aim to tackle interoperability. If that doesn't interest you and you just want to skip ahead to the dApps and the token, feel free to use the timestamps beneath the video. I've seen many people talk about this in their videos. I haven't really seen anybody break this down in a way that's easy to understand for the average person. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. I'm going to try to break down the dual Masternode system in a way that's easy for the average person to comprehend. So one issue with most interoperable blockchains out there is that they require the partner blockchain to conform to their own standards. So what I mean by that is that most of these interoperable blockchains, if they want to say become compatible with Ethereum, they have to go to Ethereum and tell Ethereum, hey, we need you to fork your code and do an update to your entire system just so that we can become compatible with you. Well, that doesn't really make much sense, and that's not, in my opinion, a very successful way to go about that. Kardiachain solves that by taking a non-invasive approach that does not require the compatible blockchain to make any changes to their system at all. For instance, when they integrated Neo as a blockchain that's compatible with their system, they actually didn't even need to contact the Neo team. They just went ahead and did it, and then they went to the Neo team and said, hey, your blockchain's compatible with ours now. So another issue with interoperability is that different blockchains have different programming languages, which makes it nearly impossible for these different blockchains to communicate and interact with each other. Kardiachain uses a language called Kardiachain Smart Contract Markup Language, or KSML for short. This KSML language basically allows different programming languages to be converted and translated into a single format that all blockchains can understand. This allows different blockchains to communicate with each other and also with Kardiachain without having a language barrier getting in the way. So now let's talk about this dual Masternode system, which is pretty much the heart of the entire solution that they're using to tackle interoperability. I'm sure most of you know what it means to operate a node on a blockchain network. You basically have a copy of the entire history of said blockchain on your node at all times, and you update it as new transactions get pushed through. That's the traditional node system. A dual Masternode is basically when you have a copy of the main blockchain that you're running the node for, and then also a copy of another blockchain that you're compatible with. So since Kardiachain is compatible with Ethereum and Neo at the moment, if you ran a dual Masternode, you would basically have one copy of Kardiachain and one copy of either Ethereum or Neo. This dual Masternode system has 3 main components. The first one is the translator. Remember that KSML language that I just talked about? This translator basically takes information from other blockchains in their native language and converts that information into KSML so that Kardiachain can understand it. And this translator also works vice versa. So it can take information from Kardiachain in the KSML language and convert it to language that other blockchains can understand. So I'm sure you guys can start to see the picture here. Kardiachain is able to take information from one blockchain, convert it into whatever language it wants, and then deliver that to another blockchain that can now understand that language. The next component of the dual Masternode system is called the router. The router can basically scan the network and all of the blockchains that are compatible with Kardiachain, and it can learn things about those networks, like how congested they are, what the transaction cost is at any given moment, how fast the transaction will go through. And there are more things that it takes into account than that, but those are the core ones. And it can use that information to decide what's the best place to send a transaction right now. And then the third part of the dual masternode system is called the aggregator. The aggregator is able to take multiple transactions from other blockchains and combine those transactions into a batch and make that into one single transaction on Kardiachain. So you can see how this can potentially make things a lot more scalable and efficient. So let's take a look at how this might work in practice. First, let's say a user interacts with a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain, and that smart contract has 3 functions inside of it. Those 3 functions would then be ingested by Kardiachain as 3 separate transactions. Kardiachain will take those 3 transactions and move them into a transaction pool. Next, the translator in the dual masternode system takes that whole pool of transactions and converts them into KSML, Kardia's native language. The router then takes those transactions and sends them off to be handled by other blockchains, depending on what the fees are on those blockchains and how congested they are and all that stuff. So right now, since Kardiachain is compatible with Neo and Ethereum, some of those transactions in the pool might be sent to Neo, some might be sent to Ethereum. But in the future, when they add more blockchains to the system, you might have a smart contract that gets handled by 5 different blockchains before it gets sent back to the original smart contract. So Kardiachain basically leverages the processing power of multiple different blockchains all at the same time. If one blockchain is too congested at any given moment, then another blockchain just takes over and handles the transactions in its place. All right, so the transactions have now been sent off to other blockchains to be handled. What happens next? After that, the results from the 3 transactions would then be taken back into Kardiachain's dual node system. The aggregator would take multiple transactions and combine them into one when possible. The data from these transactions is then converted back into the original native language where the smart contract came from. So in this example, it would be converted back into Solidity. That's Ethereum's native language. And then the transactions would be sent back to the original smart contract where the transaction is now complete. So I'm sure you understand now that one single smart contract can be handled by multiple blockchains, like I said. But what makes this even cooler is that Kardiachain has built an SDK, or a software development kit, where developers who build smart contracts on top of Kardiachain can actually specify in their code which blockchains they want certain processes to be handled by. So let's say I build a smart contract with 5 different processes or functions inside of it. I can put inside one function, hey, I want this to be handled by Ethereum. And I can put inside another function, I want this to be handled by Neo. And then when they have more blockchains, I can say, I want this one to be handled by Cardano or whatever blockchain. So I have the ability to customize my smart contract to be handled in the way that I see fit. So just to give a quick recap on that whole dual node system in case you did not understand properly. Step 1, a user interacts with the smart contract on Ethereum. Step 2, each function inside of the smart contract is taken in by Kardiachain as a separate transaction. Step 3, the translator converts these transactions into KSML so that Kardiachain can understand it properly. Step 4, the router decides where to send these transactions to, assuming the developer did not specify in his smart contract. Step 5, external blockchains handle those transactions. Step 6, Kardiachain receives the results back from those external blockchains. Step 7, Kardiachain converts those transactions back into the original blockchain's native language. And then whatever step we're at, Kardiachain takes the information and sends it back to the original blockchain where the transaction becomes complete. All right, so now let's talk about the Kai token a little bit, and then we'll explore the ecosystem after that. Kardiachain held their IEO, or Initial Exchange Offering, in April of 2020, where they raised just over $1 million. At the time of this video, the Kai token is currently sitting at around rank 380 on CoinGecko, with a market cap of just over $100 million. It has a max supply of 5 billion, with a circulating supply of about 3.4 billion. The Kai token powers the entire network. It's used for transaction fees on the network, and it also needs to be staked by people who want to become dual node operators or validators. It's also the main token used for providing liquidity and yield farming on the network and things like that. The current price is about 3 cents, and the all-time high is about 16 cents. So now let's take a look at some of the dApps that are built on top of Kardiachain. There are literally dozens of them, so it would take forever to go through all of them, but I'm going to do my best to cover as many as I can. So first up, we've got Kaidex. This is the main decentralized exchange on the system. As you can see here, they've got a regular traditional exchange where you can place market orders and limit orders. The only thing that confuses me here is I do not see an actual order book. Maybe I'm missing something. But either way, I've placed limit orders on here. It works just fine. So you can place buy orders and sell orders in a traditional order book style, or you can use the swap feature and you can swap tokens in a liquidity pool just like Uniswap. They've also got a bridge here where you can take your tokens between Kardiachain's network, the Binance Smart Chain, and the Ethereum network. You've also got a little wrap feature here where you can wrap your Kai tokens or unwrap them. Traditional tokens aren't able to be used for certain things based on the way the contracts are written. So sometimes you need to create what's called a wrapped token in order to execute certain kinds of transactions. For example, providing liquidity into some liquidity pools, you need to wrap your Kai tokens for that. So if you guys ever need to get wrapped Kai for any reason, you can do that on Kaidex. One thing I do want to point out real quick is that you can actually add Kardiachain into Metamask as a custom RPC. I'm not going to show you how to do that right now, but this particular dApp here, Kaidex, is not compatible with Metamask at the moment, so you need to use the Kardiachain extension wallet, which I will link below. Some of the other dApps on the network are also only compatible with the Kardiachain extension wallet, so just keep that in mind. But the reason I bring this up is because while the extension wallet does support hardware wallets, I had an issue when I tried to connect my ledger to it, and then when I looked into it, it turns out other people have had the same issue. It'll give you some error, and the reason for that is something to do with a Google Chrome update that they pushed sometime a few months ago, and basically the Kardiachain team just needs to update this wallet to make it compatible with Ledger again. You can bypass this by using an older version of Chrome if you really want to, although I don't really like doing that because it's not that secure. If you want to store Kardiachain assets on your hardware wallet, the best way to do that is through Metamask. But like I said, some of the dApps are only compatible with the Kardiachain extension wallet. So what I've actually been doing is kind of, if I'm required to use the Kardiachain extension wallet for some dApp, I'll make a quick transaction on there to get the token that I need. And then I'll just take that token and send it to my hardware wallet as kind of a workaround. Next up, we've got Becoswap or Becoswap. This is another decentralized exchange, but they've got a bunch of things on top of that. So besides the whole being able to swap tokens thing, you've also got yield farms here. So as you can see, they've got a bunch of different yield farms. There's 13 different yield farms on here where you can basically provide liquidity for a pair of tokens, and you can use that to farm APY. So since Beco has their own token here, you can put liquidity into the Kai Beco pool, and you can earn 133% APR on that, or you can farm Beco USDT and earn 213% APR. They've also got staking pools here, so if you don't want to farm your tokens and provide liquidity, you can just do single token staking. So you can get yourself some Beco tokens, and you can earn 51.8% APY at the moment. They've also got NFT pools. If any of you guys have heard of Wax blockchain before, then you know what NFT staking is. I'm sure you've heard of Our Planet, but this is basically a system where you can take NFTs that are supported by this system here, and you can stake them in a pool to earn Beco tokens. So you can stake your Kaba robots here and your Kaba monsters and your Kaba planets. I'm pretty sure this whole Kaba thing is just Our Planet on Kardiachain based on the little bit that I looked at it. This is a play to earn game based on NFTs, but I'm not going to go too deep into that one right now. Yeah, Crypto Galaxy Battle is the game that the Kaba robots are all about. So if you guys want to check out a play to earn game that has NFTs built into it, then feel free to check that out on Becoswap. So next we've got an NFT Marketplace here, where the main thing that they seem to be pitching is their Kaba NFTs. You can upload NFTs here of your own and sell them, which makes it kind of annoying that they keep pushing these NFTs down your throat when you log onto the page, to be honest, because there should be a marketplace where people can buy and sell NFTs, which it apparently is. But when you log on the page, it already has their Kaba robots selected and they're trying to sell them to you. And it makes it hard to find other people's NFTs. So I'm not sure how much I like that, but you can buy and sell NFTs here as well. So if you want to make some NFTs on Kardiachain, you might want to check this out. Yeah, and then when you try to hit the back button here, it just basically won't let you leave the page. So it's like, stop trying to jam these NFTs down my throat, guy. And next we've got a launch pad here on Becoswap. Looks like they've done 6 IFOs or initial farm offerings so far, or 7 of them. Looks like this one's over already, I think. But either way, that's pretty cool. One thing that I noticed when I looked into this is that projects who launch their IFO on here, they have to be paid for in LP tokens. So you would stake Kai Beco LP tokens in order to buy into these IFOs. And then they basically take the Beco from that raise and burn all of it. And then the company that's doing their IFO just gets the Kai tokens. So this is a cool way for a lot of Beco tokens to be burned, I guess. I'm not sure how bullish I am necessarily on the Beco token, since I looked at the chart and it seems to have basically just gone straight down for about a year now. But you might want to check it out. I don't know. That's up to you. All right. Next up, we've got Defily. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that one right. This is another yield farming and staking platform. They got a really sleek UI, which I really like. I'm not going to go too much into detail here since we've already covered some staking and yield farming stuff, but I definitely thought they were worth a mention. They also have their own token called DFL, and they have a launch pad on here as well. There's also a play-to-earn game here called the Dragon Wars, which I believe the Defily team has created, if I'm not mistaken. But this is another play-to-earn NFT game. I guess you get these eggs here and hatch dragons and stuff. It seems pretty cool. I'm not a big game person, so I can't really tell you too much about this. But if you want to check it out, you can do that at dragonwars.game. I'll link that below as well. And next up, we've got My DeFi Pet here. This is another NFT-based game. This one's backed by some pretty big companies. We've got Animoca Brands. OKX Exchange has a blockchain venture capitalist fund. They've invested in this too. Kardia Ventures, which is the venture part of Kardiachain, has also invested in this. And it looks like the CEO here is actually the co-founder and president of Kardiachain. So if I go to the Kardiachain website here, you'll see this guy, Trifam, I believe is his name. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But he's right here as the president on Kardiachain.io. But yeah, the game can be played on Binance Smart Chain or Kardiachain, and they have their own token called dPet. And they've also got their own NFT marketplace here where you can buy and sell your in-game assets. Based on my research, it seems to me like this might be one of the most promising dApps on Kardiachain. But like I said, I'm not really big into games and I don't know much about them. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to look into this further or not. Next up, we've got Kaimond, which is basically a loyalty program for Kai token holders. You can stake your Kai tokens and earn benefits like private allocations, so being able to get involved in projects before they launch on Kardiachain. You can also get airdrop allocations when new projects launch, whitelist spots on IDOs, and future profit sharing, whatever that means. But I guess when Kardiachain gets into some new business venture, people who stake their Kai tokens can kind of earn some rewards from that. So this is one of those things that requires wrapped Kai tokens in order to stake on Kaimond. So if you want to wrap your Kai tokens, remember I said before, you can do that on Kaidex.io. Oh, and you also earn a weak hand tax from people who exit the pool early. So if you stake on Kaimond, you have to keep your tokens locked for, I believe it's 300 days, or else you will face a tax when you exit the pool. If you wait 300 days, then you do not pay that tax when you leave. Next up, we've got Kephi or Kephi. This is another NFT marketplace on Kardiachain. This one seems to have the nicest UI out of the ones that I checked out so far. If I was going to launch some NFTs on Kardiachain, I would probably do it on this one. One thing I noticed here when I click the create button though is that it just asked me to upload a JPEG or a PNG or whatever. I don't know if these are going onto IPFS or not, but I probably would not create NFTs unless I know the files are hosted on IPFS because I don't want those pictures disappearing after a few years. They've also got this little gambling game, I guess you would call it, where you can play with KPHI tokens or with Kai. So I'll actually play this real quick because I have a few Kai tokens in my wallet. You basically just choose how many tokens you want to bet and then you set a multiplier. The higher you set the multiplier, the more you can win, but the more difficult it gets to win. So let's say I bet 5 Kai tokens here and I have the multiplier set at 2. That means I would win 5 Kai tokens profit if I win. I just have to decide whether I think the number is going to be lower than 4750 or higher than 5250. So I'll just go high. Submit the transaction. I'm rich, bro. Just won 5 Kai tokens profit. It's like 15 cents, man. All right, next up, we've got Thetan Arena. This is an eSports play-to-earn game with 23,173,000 players at the moment. It's available on Android, iOS, or PC. You can earn NFTs by playing the game, and you can sell those NFTs for Thetan Arena's native token called THG, which is available on Binance Smart Chain or the KRC20 network, which would be Kardiachain's blockchain. Yeah, so there's literally dozens more apps on Kardiachain that I can't get into right now, but you can check out dApp Radar if you want. I'll link that below the video. They don't have a list of all the dApps on Kardiachain, but they'll give you a general overview of the ecosystem. And then I just want to take a look at the team before we wrap things up here. I know I'm going to screw up every single one of these names if I try to pronounce them, but I'm going to go for it anyway. So we've got Hoi Ngoyen, the CEO. Let's take a look at his LinkedIn here. So he worked at Google for 10 years as a software engineer. He worked at Cisco for 2 years as a software engineer. He went to Berkeley, did some research on surgical robotics. So this guy's pretty serious. We've got Tribe Fam, I believe. He's the co-founder and president. If we take a look at his LinkedIn, he's co-founder of AppFluke, where they basically implemented high-tech stuff into consumer products like AR products, video processing, and stuff like that. Next up, we've got Johnny here. Johnny is the CMO of that Thetan Arena game that we actually just looked at with 23 million players, so I guess that says something. He was the chief growth officer at Galaxy Play for a year. COO and co-founder of Big Cat Entertainment Group, where they basically got an exit strategy for the team after the first year. Currently has 130 plus members, 100 million monthly viewers. Yeah, I don't think we need to go over every single team member, but I figured I would at least cover a couple of them. I did want to mention, though, before I wrap up, this guy, Bobby Pham here, he is a recent hire. He's the marketing guy now. I think he was just hired last month. One of the main criticisms that I've seen in the community is that Kardiachain's marketing hasn't been too crazy, even though they do seem to have a ton of development on top of the chain. But since he's the marketing guy, maybe that marketing stuff is going to get worked out now. So yeah, that's my review of Kardiachain. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid chain with a lot of potential, especially the interoperability aspect of it, but they do need to implement more blockchains before we can really find out how successful they're going to be. We need to see if they're actually as scalable as they say they're going to be, and if they're actually going to be compatible with a bunch of different chains. I'd also like them to fix maybe a couple minor things that aren't really that serious, but the ledger implementation into the wallet, for example. If that's your main wallet that people are going to use to interact with dApps, I think you definitely need to get hardware wallets implemented on there. Can't just expect people to downgrade their browser to a year-old version, but I don't think that's a huge deal right now. And then also there are just a couple of links on their website that are kind of broken and not leading anywhere. When I was trying to do my research on this project, I was going to the website and I was trying to click on certain things and it just wasn't taking me anywhere, so it was kind of confusing. Again, none of this stuff is really a huge deal. I'm just trying to give an unbiased opinion here, so I didn't want to just state all positives and then ignore the couple of negative things that I found. So I just figured I would point those two things out real quick. And they do have a lot of adoption. There's a lot of dApps built on top of them, so they're clearly doing something right. Let me know how you guys feel about this one. Are you bullish on this? Do you think they can tackle this interoperability thing? Do you hold any Kai? Are you planning on getting any? Drop a comment and let me know. If you found this video helpful, smash the like button. And if you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Not a financial advisor. Everything on this channel is for entertainment purposes only. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Yeah, I don't think we need to go over every single team member, but figured out at least a couple to cover them. And that makes it nearly impossible for them to communicate and interactorate. What the fuck?